Do you really control your money, or does money control you? Every time you check your bank account, your investment portfolio, or even your online shopping cart, something happens inside your brain. Not logically, chemically. And if you don't understand how money influences your nervous system, you will continue making financial decisions driven by emotion, not strategy. I'm Michael. On this channel, we break down psychology, neuroscience, and strategic thinking applied to real-world business and finance. If you want to understand how influence truly works, without motivational nonsense, without empty slogans, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Because today, we're going deep. Let's start with a simple illusion. We like to believe we are rational decision makers. We believe we analyze numbers, we compare options, we calculate risk. But neuroscience tells a different story. Money activates the brain's reward system, the same neural circuits activated by food, gambling, social media, and addictive substances. When you anticipate financial gain, your brain releases dopamine. And dopamine is not pleasure. It is anticipation. It is motivation. It is craving. That's why you check your portfolio repeatedly. That's why traders refresh charts every few minutes. That's why a small profit can feel disproportionately exciting. Let me ask you something. Have you ever checked your investments multiple times in a single day? Be honest. Write it in the comments. Because awareness is the first step toward control. Now let's talk about something even more powerful than anticipation: loss. Psychologically, losing $100 hurts more than gaining $100 feels good. This phenomenon is called loss aversion, and it shapes nearly every financial decision you make. It explains why people panic sell during market crashes. It explains why investors hold losing positions too long. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, markets didn't just collapse because of numbers. They collapsed because of fear. Fear spread faster than facts. Fear amplified selling. Fear destroyed confidence. And once fear takes over the nervous system, rational thinking shuts down. When markets drop, do you feel calm or anxious? Comment below, calm or anxious. Because your answer reveals more about your financial behavior than any spreadsheet ever will. Now let's go deeper. Your brain hates uncertainty. Uncertainty triggers stress. Stress activates survival mechanisms. And survival mode is not strategic mode. When economic instability increases, people look for certainty. They follow the crowd. They trust confident voices. They seek simple explanations for complex systems. This is how bubbles form. This is how hype spreads. This is how entire populations make synchronized financial mistakes. Markets are not purely economic systems. They are emotional ecosystems. And emotion spreads socially. When enough people feel fear, markets fall. When enough people feel greed, markets inflate. Understanding finance without understanding psychology is incomplete. And understanding psychology without understanding biology is dangerous. Because at the core of every financial decision is your nervous system. Let's make this practical. Credit cards reduce the pain of paying. When you use cash, your brain registers the loss immediately. When you use a card, the pain is delayed. Delayed pain feels smaller. That changes spending behavior. Trading apps use notifications strategically. A small green number, a price alert, a movement indicator. Each notification is a potential dopamine trigger. Subscription models remove the feeling of repeated spending. Limited time offers create urgency. Scarcity activates fear of missing out. Is this manipulation? Not necessarily. It's behavioral design. The system understands your brain. The real question is, do you? Now here's where things become uncomfortable. Money is not just an economic tool. It is an emotional amplifier. If you are insecure, money amplifies insecurity. If you are impatient, money amplifies impatience. If you are fearful, money magnifies fear. Financial pressure reveals psychological weaknesses. That's why two people can face the same market conditions and react completely differently. One sees opportunity, the other sees threat. The difference is not intelligence, it's emotional regulation. Let's talk about overconfidence. When markets rise, confidence rises. Success triggers dopamine. Dopamine increases risk-taking. Increased risk-taking can lead to overexposure, and overexposure makes downturns devastating. This is why financial cycles repeat. Not because humans lack information, but because humans repeat emotional patterns. History doesn't just repeat economically, it repeats neurologically. Now ask yourself this. Have you ever made a financial decision you later regretted? Not because of bad data, but because of emotion. Impulsively buying something expensive, selling too early, holding too long, avoiding an opportunity out of fear. Write it in the comments. What was the decision? Let's create a real discussion. Because learning happens faster when it's shared. So how do you take back control? First, delay emotional decisions. Emotion is strongest in the first wave. Strategy emerges after the emotional peak passes. Second, create predefined rules. Decide your investment criteria before entering the market. Define exit points before you feel pressure. Create financial structures that protect you from yourself. Third, reduce constant exposure. If you monitor markets every minute, you increase emotional volatility. Distance creates clarity. Fourth, separate identity from money. Your net worth is not your self-worth. When money becomes identity, volatility becomes psychological instability. And finally, practice emotional awareness. When you feel urgency, pause. When you feel euphoria, pause. When you feel fear, pause. The pause is power. Money does not directly control your bank account. It controls your nervous system. And whoever controls their nervous system controls their decisions. This is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming aware. Because strategy without awareness is fragile, and awareness without action is useless. Now I want to challenge you. Re-watch this video and try to identify how many psychological triggers I used while explaining how psychology works. Did you notice authority framing? Did you notice emotional questioning? Did you notice contrast? Did you notice tension and resolution? Train your strategic eye, because once you start seeing psychological mechanisms, you can't unsee them. If this video changed the way you think about money, leave a like. Subscribe if you want weekly deep dives into psychology, influence, finance, and strategic thinking applied to the real world. And before you leave, answer this. What emotion influences your financial decisions the most? Fear, greed, impatience, overconfidence? Write it below. I'm Michael, and on this channel, we make invisible mechanisms visible. Because when you understand how your brain works, you stop being controlled by it. See you in the next video.